It's 6 o'clock, and I'd like to welcome you to the June 24th meeting of the South Carolina Anderson One School Board. I want to welcome each one of you here, and I would like to ask everyone to stand. Mr. Jason Neal will give an invocation, and your name standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
You bow your head. Lord, thank you for allowing us to be here tonight to make the hard decisions for these young ones in this district, Lord. Please help guide us to make the right decisions, Lord. Lord, please watch after Mike Upton tonight and make sure all these test results come out like we want them to clear, Lord. Lord, please help all those out there with spoken and or unspoken prayer requests to be helped here with judged in some way, Lord. Lord, please let everything we do tonight to be with your grace and in your glory, Lord. It's in your name that we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. The next item is to approve our agenda. Everyone was sent a copy of the agenda ahead of time. Do I have a motion that we accept the agenda as presented?
Also move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? And the agenda is approved. The next item is the minutes of the May 27th meeting. You were also sent those in your packet for tonight and had time to look over those. Are there any additions or deletions to those minutes? If none, do I have a motion to approve?
Also.
A second? And that everyone in favor, raise your right hand. And that's also approved. The next item is the superintendent's report, but Dr. Young, I think you have some people to introduce.
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Brady. We do have, I know it's the end of June, but we do have some new teachers that will be joining the Anderson One. Turn it over to Ms. Brady.
Yes, we are very excited to have some new folks with us this evening, and we're going to start with Miss Danielle Ballard.
Hi, I'm Danielle Ballard. I'm from Rock Hill, South Carolina, and I went to Clemson University. I did my teacher residency in Powdersville High School, and I'm going to be teaching English at Powdersville High School this year. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Amanda Lamar. I have 12 years of experience in special education. I'm moving from St. Louis, Missouri, which is relocated with this job to the area. So we're very excited to be here, and I can't wait to start at Powdersville Elementary.
Hi, I'm Tinsley Lyles. I was on the previous board meeting agenda. I am from Powdersville, so I graduated from Powdersville High School. I've then moved to Winthrop to get my degree in English and a minor in secondary education, and I will be teaching at Palmetto High in the fall.
Samantha Head. I'm also on the prior board agenda. I'm coming from Pickens County in the College School. I've been with Pickens County for 13 years. I'm from Powdersville. I graduated from there in 2007, so I'm a product of this district, and I will be at Powdersville teaching for them.
Hello, I'm Anna Skaggs. I was also on a previous board agenda. I'm originally from Clover, South Carolina, which is outside of Rock Hill, Charlotte area. I have been in Aiken County for the past 4 years, and I'm a proud Clemson graduate. I'm very excited to be back and teaching at Powdersville Elementary.
Ivan Raymond. This will be my 10th year going in education. I'll be at Powdersville High School teaching social studies and coaching girls basketball. I'm excited to be here.
Let me be the first to welcome you to the best school district in South Carolina. We appreciate all of you. You are welcome to stay, but you don't have to. Okay. Dr. Young, would you like to announce our press?
Yes. I'd like to thank Dave Mead from the News and Journal for being here today. All he does for Anderson One, covering our different events. Thank you.
And we're ready for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Ms. Hood. We'll start with the financial report. Before I jump right into that, I do want to acknowledge that towards the end of the school year and last month, we had just found out that the Powdersville High School soccer team won championship, and we had some recognitions with some of the fine arts programs at Powdersville Middle and Powdersville High with their band and chorus programs, and then we also had the Air Force ROTC program at Almeda High School with some recognition. The cadets there, Sophia Burgess was recognized as one of the top 3 cadets at the National Air Force ROTC leadership camp that they had down in Florida. We recognized them in July when everybody's able to be here and as we're getting closer to the start of the school year. So that's why we didn't have any official student recognitions tonight, just making sure that everybody's in town and we can celebrate them together. So we're going to jump into the financial report. We'll begin with the local accounts of the different schools. You may see a couple of accounts that are a little lower than normal as we wrap up the year, but there's always, like with some of the band accounts and athletic accounts, there's some fundraisers that are coming up as we, over the summer and the beginning of the year that'll get those taken care of. As always, if there's any specific account or school account that you need more information on, please let us know, and me or Mr. Thomas can follow up on that for you. If you get to the new papers, the investment funds, on the first couple of pages, you'll see that we have 47 CDs for our general fund invested at a little over $10.67 million. That accrued a little over $290,000 in interest this month. And then you see our food service account, 2 CDs, $396,000 invested, with a little over $4,300 in interest this month. The third page has all of our different investment accounts. The fourth page shows you the backup of pages 1 through 3. Fifth page back up to page 4. Sixth page back up to page 5, and then the last page is back up to page 6. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Thomas to kind of pick up on Subfund 502.
Thank you, Dr. Young. We'll start out with Subfund 502, which is our building program fund. Our total revenue in that fund is a little over $35 million. And then total expenses so far of $34.6 million. And then our retainage in that is a little over $2.2 million, brings our total balance to $2.6 million. Did want to point out in the completed projects column at the bottom, we've been able to complete Palmetto High Fieldhouse, so that's moved over into the completed side with Oak Hill, and then concrete renovations still ongoing. All right, if you flip to the next page, and that's our local option sales tax report, and this reflects collections from the month of February. Anderson County as a whole received in just under $3.8 million. Our percentage of that, Anderson One's percentage, is 33.5%. Which generated $1,285,000. 20% of that goes directly to property tax relief, which was $257,000, and the remaining 80% is capital use for our district of $1,028,000. Below that, you can see the fund balance in the account beginning month of a little over $22 million. Add in the revenue for the month as well as interest, less the expenses, the few expenses for the month. And that brings the ending fund balance for May at $23.1 million. All right, the next report is our revenue report for school board. This is also through May 31st. Revenue received in the month, $8,700,000. Revenue received year to date, $105.7 million, which puts us at 93% collected of revenue budget through May. And then our final report is our expenditure report, which is a 2-pager. It shows all of your categories. Page 2 has our totals. Expenses for the month of May total $9,675,000, and then expenses year to date of $100.4 million, which puts us at 88% of budget through the month of May. And just keep in mind that we're closing out in June, and that's the month we actually have 2 payrolls in, so we will be hitting that pretty hard in June as we close out the year. But everything looks really good. We're in good shape, very comparable to where we were last year. So.
Before we're getting started with the meeting, Travis told me he's not willing to go on record until next board meeting, but I told him I wasn't afraid to go on record. That I really think that because of how our revenues have come in, and when you look at our expenditure projections, that I felt like we're going to avoid using that $1.9 million that in last year's budget was allocated from the fund balance. We're definitely not going to need to use all of that, and we're hopeful that we might not even need to use any of that. So by next meeting, we'll definitely be able to let you know on that. But our revenues came in a little more than we had estimated, and our expenditures were right on target. So I feel pretty confident about that. So I want to thank Mr. Thomas and his team for how they've managed that this year.
I'm sorry.
No, next on the financial report, in your packet, you had a request to modify our list of exemptions for procurement. One thing that I did want to point out on this, you have some medical and related services. That would be when we have that contract with folks that have EMS services or additional security at extracurricular activities, things like that. On section 13 for emergency repairs, I did want to point out that when we say that this was an exemption for procurement, this is only for a dire emergency. This would not be, poor planning or anything like that. The only time this would be used is for dire emergencies, especially for that HVAC system or any equipment for that. I know that there may have been a question about, is there a cost limit or anything like that. This would only be done if there was an emergency. If the system were to go down right at the start of school, that we would do whatever it takes to make sure that we had AC in the school. And that this would not just be a willy-nilly purchase or anything like that. So that's what this would be used for, only in an emergency. And finally, the maintenance contracts for the sole authorized dealer for existing building systems. Our elevator especially, there's only a vendor in the area that we work with that does that. There's not many elevator contractors in the area, so that's why when we need to get that fixed, we don't need to go through that whole long process to get that done. So that's why these exemptions, we're asking for you to consider these exemptions for our procurement policies.
Dr. Young has presented this for our approval. If you look over the approval, are there any questions? Do I have a motion that we accept?
Also moved.
Second? All those in favor? Those are approved, Dr. Young.
Thank you. So next, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Moore for our instructional report.
Thank you, Dr. Young. While I have a longer walk now, so take some more steps in the board. I will tell you that we're wrapping up summer school and summer reading camp, and our next meeting we'll have some more information to share with you. We did receive our visit from the state, got some great feedback, and our folks really do work hard to serve our students, and I think you'll be very proud of some things going on with that, and I look forward to sharing that with you. For today, just briefly, I wanted to just brag on our folks in Anderson 1. I love being able to do that. You probably know that a lot of us, school leaders, district leaders, go to SCASA I3 to learn and get better, to meet with our colleagues and to share ideas and to steal some ideas from other districts. It's a great time to be able to collaborate with our colleagues and our peers across the state. And we were well represented at SCASA I3 this year. You have to submit a presentation proposal, and then a committee of folks get together and approve those. And we actually had 3 that were approved and that we submitted, and that were very well attended. So I thought I would brag on some folks, some of whom are in the room. First of all, Palmetto High School, they were submitted. Their presentation focused on PLC, specifically how they picked out essential standards and how they simplified the process for their teachers. And so the 3 administrators, the administrative team there, had a big crowd, did a great job. We're really proud of the work that they did. And I will tell you now, and I'll probably repeat myself, they received a lot of questions from the audience and folks to stick around afterward. Folks want to come to Anderson One, come to school, visit, and we like to be able to serve and work with our colleagues across the state. And it's great to be noticed, and it's great to be appreciated and to receive those questions. Wren High School also presented. They focused on professional learning community, and I wish Dr. Whitfield were here. I brag on him. He did a great job, and he even told the audience at one point, I wasn't sure about this PLC thing at first, but when I watched how it helped to transform the collaborative piece, transform some of the things we were doing at Wren High School, it really took off. And so he and Dr. Selman, that you see there in the other picture, did a phenomenal job talking about how they are ensuring high levels of learning for all students through professional learning community work. Again, well attended, a lot of interest and a lot of enthusiasm in the room. And then you heard from Melissa Tollison, Ms. Tollison, earlier at a board meeting. And so I think you might recognize this individual right here. I didn't get this picture approved, so this might be my last time being able to present to you today. But I'm going to tell you what, the work that Ms. Tollison, Ms. Brady, and others are doing to support leaders in our district is incredible. We've got so much positive feedback. And again, just being able to share our ELITE program with others in the state, again, well received, a lot of interest and enthusiasm, and a recognition that there's more, an increased need to continue to support leaders. It's a difficult job, as you know, certainly as we know, and just gave us a lot of, I guess, healthy, positive confirmation that we're doing the right thing. And I know Dr. Wilson, I don't have a picture of Dr. Wilson, probably because he was all over the place at SCASA, also served on the committee to help put SCASA on. And so we were well represented in Anderson School District 1 at our SCASA I3 conference this year for administrators. And the last thing I wanted to do is brag on our folks. Dr. Young gave us the opportunity to have a June leadership meeting that was a little bit different than, I guess, the traditional meeting. And so working in partnership with New Spring in Powdersville, we were able to get all of our assistant principals together for a day of reflection and a day of looking at our data, the data that we have. We don't have all of it yet. And so we did things like try to calculate our school report cards at this point, looking at our data, celebrating the positive things, the many positive things that are taking place in our schools, but also highlighting those areas where we clearly need to grow. So it really was a tremendous day. You can see the crowd that we had. And I'll tell you, and you know this, very rarely in education do we give ourselves a time just to spend a day of reflection and a day of peace and quiet where we can just get in the room together and kind of highlight those very positive things, but also highlight those areas where we need to grow. So that was a very positive experience. And that culminates with this because I think Dr. Young and others you'll see this quite frequently this year from us. Dr. Young has challenged us to have a North Star mentality this year. And one of the things that resonates with me, and I've told him multiple times, this is what we needed from an instructional standpoint, is to be able to specifically pinpoint like what's meaningful to us, what's impactful to us, what goals do we have? And instead of just being very 30,000 foot view, very generic, very general, being specific about the goals that we have and how are we doing in terms of obtaining success and reaching those goals. So that is something that was kind of provided from Dr. Young and his leadership to us, but also to our leaders at our June administrator meeting. And so I know you'll hear more about that, Dr. Young, if there's anything else that you want to say to that.
Just that we really want to make sure that we're focused on student learning and growth, and that we make sure that you know, when you're focused on that North Star, that's what's guiding your decision making, and that we're trying to make sure that we're being protective of our leaders' time, make sure that they're in the classrooms, that they're really focused on what are we doing to impact instruction, and we're going to continue to talk about that throughout the next several months, so that's going to be a focus of ours.
Thank you, sir. And that's our instructional report.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Next, we'll turn to Ms. Brady for student nutrition report.
Yes, I'd like to highlight our summer feeding program. It has been very successful overall. There's a few pictures of our kiddos eating a healthy lunch so that they can better learn. We served an average of 40 students at the Palmetto Elementary site, and then an average of about 100 at Spearman each day. So that's very well attended overall. I want to shout out to Mr. Dawkins and his entire team. They do a great job with this particular program and all their programs. So that kind of sums up our nutritional report for this month. And I'll turn it over to Dr. Young for some specifics.
There are two considerations with our student nutrition report that we need board approval for. The first one is in relation to the community eligibility program, the CEP program. As you may remember, over the last couple of years, we've been able to provide free breakfast and lunch to our students in the the Palmetto feeder with Palmetto High, Palmetto Middle, Palmetto Elementary, West Pelzer, and flipping it around on you. Make sure you can still find your seat.
Oh, if I pass this test,
But we've been able to offer free meals at the Palmetto feeder, also at Spearman, and then last year we added Spearman and Wren. Technically, our schools the schools that have above a 30% poverty level do qualify for the CEP program. However, the district has to cover the rest of the cost. And if we were to include all of our schools in the CEP program, it would cost us somewhere between $800,000 and $900,000 to be able to do that. So unfortunately, even though technically all of our schools qualify, we just don't recommend taking on that added burden to our general fund and our budget. Students that live in poverty can still get free meals, they can still get free lunch, they can still get free breakfast or reduced depending on what they qualify for. And we try to work with those families to make sure they get the paperwork on file so that they can get those meals provided for them. But we do need resolution from the board that we just continue implementing the community eligibility program or the CEP program as we have last year with the Palmetto feeder along with Spearman and Wren Elementary, just because of the additional financial burden to the district if we included additional schools. So we would need a motion to, it's just a motion to continue the CEP program as it has been implemented over the last years.
Is that funded through federal dollars?
It is.
Will it be supported? You might ask this question. Will it be with Department of Education possibly going away with that? What's the jeopardy? How is that program jeopardy?
That's a good question. From our meetings, it is going to be funded for the upcoming school year, and we're not sure how that will work moving forward. You may have additional information. Yeah.
And name the schools that are part of that again: Palmetto feeders, Spearman,
and Wren Elementary.
Any other questions for Dr. Young? The superintendent has asked us to consider the resolution to continue community eligibility program schools with the same structure as 24-25 school year. Do I have a motion? Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? It's unanimous.
Thank you, Ms. Hood. The next consideration for the student nutrition services is, as you all know, the cost of doing business is continuing to rise a little bit. So Mr. Dawkins and his team have recommended that we do a slight increase to the cost of student meals. And this would cover the rising cost of purchasing food and doing business. So The proposal would be to increase breakfast by 20 cents. That would make breakfast cost $1.50. That's pretty good breakfast for $1.50. And then elementary lunch would increase by 15 cents to $2.50. And if we increase middle and high school lunches, that would be $2.65. We feel like based on projections, that would help us raise about $55,000 to pay for ingredients and food and just keep up with the rising costs of providing those meals that they provide. So we just need the board to consider to approve those meal prices for the 25-26 school year.
Okay, we've heard the request from Dr. Young to approve the meal prices for 2025 school year for non-CEP schools. The breakfast will now be $1.50. The elementary lunches will be $2.50. The middle and high school lunches will be $2.65. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Do I have a motion that we accept?
Yes, so much.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? That passes.
Yeah, let me know when you want to come stop in for breakfast or lunch.
It has to be one of the least inflationary prices I've ever seen.
You remember that when you get a question on it.
Well, school lunches when I was there,
Yeah.
75 cents or $1.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, it's still affordable, so
That's
that's.
a long time ago.
Yes, sir. Next, I'm going to turn to Dr. Wilson for the administration report.
Thank you. I have a couple of policies. I was first going to mention, as y'all see, my voice is starting to go for some reason. As y'all see all these houses being built, we have gotten a lot of phone calls in the last 2 weeks, and mostly from out of state, of folks that are moving in here that, like you heard from this young lady, that spouses have gotten jobs as we see industry around us growing. I didn't know that we'd fill up those houses like we are, but they're coming. If you see with Lynn and some of them, they're just throwing houses up. So I do expect us to see some significant growth this year based on the 2,100 homes that are approved and are being built at this point. And, a lot of the builders are saying, well, they're not going to have kids in them, and that's just not what happens in this district. Folks are moving here with their kids to live in the district. So just wanted to let y'all know that that's a positive, and it also brings its challenges. So, but that is coming. We do have 3 policies. We have one for final reading. I'll start with that one. That is the one that's on the front. That is our new sick leave bank policy. Just a reminder, it's for employees that work 30 hours or more. It is a sick leave bank that employees have the ability to volunteer a day in, and then they're able to be able to be part of the group that gets to take days out if they needed to. It's for catastrophic illness. Somebody would really have to have something that would be serious over a period of time. There is a clause for somebody who may have cancer and have treatments, be able to work some, go back, be able to work some for intermittent, for catastrophic. But they would have had to use all of their days that they had earned before they can apply for this. So there will be a board that will be appointed based on the criteria. An individual would fill out an application to say, I would like to be a part of it, use my days up to the days of the sick leave bank. If they were hospitalized for a long period of time, an immediate family member could do that for them, so we could continue. Somebody was in a terrible accident, we've had some of those that if they couldn't actually do it themselves, if there was a clause to do that. So there'll be an open enrollment period like there is with health insurance. So if you miss it 1 year and you decide, oh, I wish I'd done that, you can come back during open enrollment. And then there's procedures. An employee may not use more than 60 days in a calendar year, so that would be topped out. So if they had their own days, they could still use 60 and they'd be leave without pay, depending on the situation of the personnel. So those are kind of the highlights. I just kind of want to run those through. This is a requirement of the state now that districts do. We're one of, I think there's 70 districts at this point. They've already done it, 70 or 71 is what I remember them saying. So we would join the ranks, and if it would be to the board's pleasure, I'd recommend that we approve this sick leave policy.
You've heard the recommendation from Dr. Wilson. Do I have a motion that we accept this?
Awesome.
Second? Second. All those in favor?
Thank you very much. I have two policies for first reading that I'll kind of go through, and then if you have any questions related to any of these policies over the next 30 days, I would be happy to talk with you about. The first one is the wellness policy. Not a tremendous amount of changes. You can see basically it's just some language changes. There's really nothing substantial in the policy that I think we would give to the partner. There were just some language changes in the policy, and the state has asked us to update using that language. So you can read through and see in red where those are. The second policy, a policy that came to us from the South Carolina School Boards Association related to animals in school. There's actually only changes in this are related to service animals. There was a time when we were able to actually require them to provide some type of certification. The law no longer allows that, so we cannot ask if someone comes in and has, basically what the law is going to say, if they bring a service animal in, we can question, is the service animal trained and what are they trained to do? And we take their word for that. They have to have a service animal vest on and identified. So when we wrote the policy, I'm sure we looked at it and thought, boy, we'd like a lot more than that, than just somebody walking in that can buy on eBay a strap. That is clearly what the law says around a service animal. We can't really do what we have done in the past with that. So you'll see the language change there. There was a point with those animals, we were also asking if they're going to bring a service animal, we probably would like to know they've been vaccinated. Felt like that was a fair. The others in the state had this same policy that was from 2006 when it came out. But the law does not allow that. So this came from the attorneys at the School Board Association. And while I don't necessarily know the terminology, it is what the law requires, and we really have no option but to obey what federal law says around service animals. I asked the question, I said, so who's responsible if that animal goes after somebody? And the individual that brings that animal will have the opportunity to both be arrested and sued if that animal were, and that's great news unless it's your child that gets bit. It doesn't make you feel too good about that. So I did want to say this is one, I'm usually pretty good about supporting what they send us. This is one I had a little bit of concern, but I definitely read through the law. I mean, I trust the lawyers, but it is clear that that's what federal law says related to service animals. So think about it. If you have any questions between now and the next board meeting, I'm happy to address those two policies with you of anything that would concern you. And that's all from the administration.
And Liberty.
Next is this building program and safety updates. There's a couple things, and I have shared some of this with you, but I wanted to pull it up on here just to show you a couple of things. First, this is a concrete, and I just wanted to make sure everybody kind of could tell what we were looking at right here. And I know I'm going to move away a little bit. I'm going to step around so you can see. You can kind of see the addition where the new front office is. The entrance to concrete used to be about right here where this big red dumpster is, and it has been shifted down a little bit, which will make the car line a little bit bigger, but you can also see we've added some parking over this way. If any of you have ever taken kids to concrete, you understand what this road can look like at certain times of day. So we'll be able to redo this car line here to start double stacking to bring people in. We're still going to be able to partnership with the church that's Siloam that's right here. But the area where we can load cars is going to be a little bit different, and there's going to be no parking over here, so that this car line can be a little bit wider. So we're excited about that. I know I shared a couple pictures, but we've redone the classrooms on this hallway and this front hallway, and where the main office used to be, which is right here. There will be some classroom space there that will be completed within a couple of months. But we were excited. They've already been able to start waxing the floors in some of the classrooms that are being done. I know I sent you some pictures at the very beginning of June that looked like they've been blown up, but they've already replaced all the casework. They've got new lights, new ceiling, and just this week they were able to start waxing some of the floor. So I'll share some of those pictures with you in the next couple of days so you can see that. But we're real excited about how quickly they work the concrete. Next, this is Oak Hill, and you can kind of see, it just seems like a couple months ago it was a big dirt patch. But I'll stop for a second. But you can see the main part of the school. This area closest to us is the gym and the library in the back here. These are going to be the related arts classes on this hallway with the main entrance that will swing around. This area right here in the middle is where the classroom wings will be. So on the first floor is kindergarten in the middle, first and second grade, and then you'll have third grade in the middle and fourth and fifth grade on either side. And it's exciting that it's starting to be closed in. I think they're going to start putting windows in August so they can really get going. But you can really see the progress they're making. The cafeteria and kitchen area back here, and then back here is going to be our conference center. You can also start to see like where the car lines and bus lines will be. This will be the bus loop on this side. One of the car loops will be back here, and then another car loop that'll be right here at the front. And if you remember, we had to move a graveyard, and the graveyard is right here, just barely out of frame. But when it swings around, you can see where the Elrod family graveyard is that we had to move. But you can really start to see this thing coming together. And like I always say, if you ever want to walk through there, I can get you an extra hard hat. And we can go check it out. Miss Brady can even get you a pink hard hat if you want one. I think she let somebody borrow a pink hard hat. So, but I just wanted to share that with you. I know I had sent you some of that, but sometimes it's hard to see what everything is if somebody's not able to point out the pictures. The other thing I just want to make the board aware of is Dr. Wilson has had a couple of vendors come in. I think you've heard of Centegix. I know that has the button that teachers and staff members can have around their neck. That we've met with that can alert administration or law enforcement if there's an issue. We met with another vendor today that offers that same service, and we have Raptor that that has just launched their version of that. And so we're gonna talk with them. We're working with the state on some of their safety grant funds to see if we're able to work with them to be able to fund some of this. But that's our next big thing that we want to make sure that we get in Anderson One is we want to secure some funding and find the right partner to make sure that we are continuing to make safety and security a top priority for our students and staff, and we feel like that's the next step. Anything you want to add to that?
I agree with everything that like Jim said. We've also, as you know, we've added the Omni Alert system to our middle highs. We're actually testing those with law enforcement on July 7th, Monday. They were in long guns. We didn't want any of our people walking around with weapons on campus. So we've got SROs and Williamston Police. They're coming and bringing their long guns and shotguns and pistols. The product says it picks up both body language that makes you think there might be a gun, as well as the actual barrels. Suppose we can identify it by the barrel. I want to see that. But that'd be interesting. That if it's a long gun or if it's a rifle or a shotgun, whatever. So we've got sheriff's offices agree that make sure we've got folks in the police, so we'll have those folks, and we'll give you a report in July how that went.
I was at the Georgia Municipal Association meeting this weekend in Savannah, and the booth right across from where I was some technology, some competitor, SI-33, I can't remember, but they have this. It's really cool to watch it. You know, they have blue ARs and pistols, and they let you put them anywhere you wanted to, as long as you couldn't conceal it. You know what I'm saying? It was the same. It was pretty interesting to see how I identify it. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Thank you. The next item is consideration to go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter. Do I have a motion that we adjourn for executive session? Second. All those in favor? And we'll be back.
It feels, so you can cut the air off.
We're just gonna hear checks.
You look nice though.
I'm sorry to ask that question.
And on letter G, to report that there's no action taken in executive session. Letter H, personnel.
Understood. Turn over to Ms. Brady to review our personnel.
Yes, I can honestly say at this point in the game, we are fully staffed with certified teachers. I appreciate the support. I appreciate, the opportunity to hire early. I appreciate, y'all's, just, unwavering support of our hiring process. Ms. Brooks, y'all know, worked so hard, as do our administrators, but tonight was a final group, and we probably will have a few more in July that were on previous board agendas, so that we can give them all an opportunity to meet you. But I do ask that you approve the list that was sent, and the one additional add-on with Ms. Danielle Ballard for this evening's agenda.
Okay, we've been asked to, look at the recommendations for 2 teachers, one administrative retirement, 1 retirement, and 3 resignations, and a recommendation for 1 high school teacher. A motion?
Except we make a motion that we accept these recommendations.
Second?
I'm saying.
All those in favor? The last item on the agenda is to adjourn. All those in favor, would you please stand?
Chicken.